Have you ever wondered why some people manage to earn more money, sometimes a lot more, without seeming to work harder than you? It's strange, isn't it? Because if we stop to think about it, since we were little, we've been taught that the more effort, the greater the result. That working hard is the path to financial growth, achieving freedom, building wealth. But then, why in practice does this not hold true for so many people? Why are some people killing themselves working and still living on the edge, while others seem to play a completely different game and win much more easily? Now tell me something. Have you ever been through this? Have you ever had the feeling of doing everything right, putting in the effort, trying to make money online, studying, applying, and yet the results don't come as they should, as if there's a missing piece in the puzzle? Something no one told you. What you are about to discover may surprise you. There's a detail, almost invisible, that separates those who manage to grow financially from those who remain stuck in the same place. And no, it has nothing to do with luck, special talent, or starting with an advantage. It has to do with something much simpler and at the same time, much more powerful. A psychological trick that influences decisions every day, all the time, including yours. And here's the most curious thing. You've already been impacted by this trick several times, maybe even today. You just never realized it. Think about it. Have you ever gone to a website, seen a product and thought it was too expensive, but seconds later, you saw another, even more expensive option, and suddenly, the first one didn't seem so absurd anymore? Or when you see someone selling something online for a high price, and even without knowing exactly why, it seems more valuable, more trustworthy. This is no coincidence. This is psychological, and this is exactly where the game changes. Because while most people try to make money by focusing solely on effort, productivity, or quantity of work, there's a group that has understood something different. Something that makes money start flowing much more naturally. They're not just working harder, they're influencing how value is perceived. And that changes everything. In the world of personal finance, and especially in the universe of making money online, understanding how the human mind works can be more important than any technical strategy. It can be more valuable than knowing tools, platforms, or even having experience. Because in the end, it's not just about what you sell, how hard you work, or how much you know. It's about how people perceive what you offer. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to understand could make you see money, sales, and opportunities in a completely different way. It could be the turning point you've been missing to finally get out of your rut and start building real financial growth. But before I show you exactly how this trick works and how you can use it to your advantage starting today, you need to understand one essential thing that almost no one realizes, and that is influencing your decisions. Right now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a hidden truth behind all of this that almost no one realizes. You're not just making decisions. You're being guided by invisible patterns that shape your financial journey every day. And the most interesting thing is that, when you start to see behind the scenes, something changes inside you. Your mindset begins to transform, your choices become more conscious, and suddenly, what once seemed confusing starts to make sense. Think about it. How many times have you looked at an opportunity to make money online and been stuck, unsure if it was worthwhile or not? It wasn't a lack of ability. It wasn't a lack of information. It was the way it was presented to you. The impact wasn't in the content itself, but in how your brain interpreted it. And this is where one of the biggest revelations of this process comes in. Value is never absolute. It is constructed in your mind. This completely changes the game. Because it means that if you learn to understand this mechanism, you stop being just someone who reacts to the world and become someone who influences their own outcome. This is not manipulation. It's awareness. It's about understanding how decisions are formed, how perceptions are created, and how small changes can have a huge effect on how you see money, opportunities, and growth. And when you start applying this, even in simple ways, the results begin to appear in a way that previously seemed impossible. But there's a specific detail within this process. Something subtle, almost imperceptible, that's responsible for a large part of these decisions, and that's exactly what we need to explore now. Comment below. Does this make sense to me? In the open, I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because the real problem has never been a lack of effort. That's one of the biggest illusions that keeps people stuck in the same place for years. There's a silent, almost automatic belief that working harder will solve everything. But, behind the scenes, what's really at stake are the decisions you make, and especially, how you perceive the value of the things around you. And here's the point that changes everything. Most people aren't losing money because they don't try. They're losing it because they don't see it. There's a disconnect between what they do and the real impact it generates. They focus on producing more, doing more, running faster, but completely ignore how the world interprets what they offer. This creates an invisible cycle. You put in the effort, you don't see results. You think you need to try even harder, and you remain trapped in this pattern. But in practice, the game isn't being played at the level of action, it's being played at the level of perception. And this is a hidden truth that few people talk about. It doesn't matter how hard you work if your value isn't perceived. It doesn't matter how much you know if it doesn't impact the mind of the person on the other side. Because in the end, people don't react to reality. They react to their interpretation of it. And when you start to understand this, something changes in your mindset. You stop acting on autopilot and begin to observe the details, the signs, the patterns behind the choices. You start to realize that there are silent triggers influencing everything from a simple purchase to decisions involving money, growth, and opportunities. And this is exactly where most people get lost, because they continue to ignore the most important factor in this journey: how value is constructed in the mind. Comment below, I'm starting to see this. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a specific mechanism behind all of this, a silent cog that influences your decisions without you realizing it. And that's one of the most important revelations of this journey. Your brain doesn't evaluate value in isolation. It always needs a point of comparison. This is where something that many people never realize comes in, but which is present in practically every choice you make. Your brain is constantly seeking references, creating a kind of invisible base to decide if something is expensive, cheap, good, or bad. Without this reference, you simply don't know how to react. And that completely changes the way you view money, because it means that the value isn't in the object, the product, or the opportunity itself. It's in how it's presented within a context. It's a mental construct, an interpretation, a reading that your brain makes based on what it has just seen before. And when you understand this, you start to notice patterns that previously went unnoticed. That feeling that something is really worth it, or that something isn't worth it, ceases to be random, and begins to have a clear reason behind it. This explains why two people can look at the same opportunity to make money online and have completely different reactions. It's not about the opportunity itself. It's about the frame of reference each person is using at that moment. And here's the most interesting point. Whoever understands this mechanism can influence this perception. They can create context, they can guide decisions. And this has a direct impact on how money starts to appear, not because reality has changed, but because the interpretation has changed. And that's the kind of detail that separates those who merely participate in the game from those who begin to understand what goes on behind the scenes and use that understanding to their advantage in a conscious, strategic, and intentional way. Comment below. Now everything is starting to make sense. Do I want to delve even deeper into this subject? Imagine this situation. You go to a website and see a product being sold for 100 reals. At first glance, it seems expensive. Your brain reacts almost automatically, creating resistance. But then, seconds later, you see another product next to it for 500 reals. And suddenly, that same 100 reals doesn't seem so high anymore. Do you realize what happened? The product hasn't changed. The price hasn't changed, but your perception of it has changed completely. This happens because your brain needed a reference point. And when it found something more expensive, it created a new benchmark for comparison. It's as if it were saying, okay, within this scenario, this makes sense. This is the behind the scenes of the decisions you make every day, often without realizing it. And this goes far beyond products. It happens when you evaluate a service, an opportunity to make money online, even when you decide if something is worth it or not. The impact doesn't come from pure reality. It comes from how it's presented to you. Now think about how many times you've dismissed something because it seemed expensive, but in reality, you just needed a different benchmark. Or you accepted something as a great opportunity simply because you were comparing it to something even worse. This is the hidden truth. Your decisions are not as free as they seem. They are shaped by context, by contrast, by small, invisible constructs that direct your journey without you realizing it. And when you start to see this clearly, everything changes. You stop reacting automatically and begin to understand the game behind the choices, the offers, the opportunities. And this is exactly where the turning point begins. Because this same principle can be used strategically, creating a completely different effect on the results you generate. Comment below. My mind opened up a day ago. I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because it is precisely here that this mechanism ceases to be merely a curiosity and begins to transform into real money. When you understand how the perception of value works, you are no longer stuck with pure effort. You begin to influence decisions, and this has a direct impact on how you earn money. Think about it. Two people can offer practically the same thing, the same product, the same service, even the same idea. But one of them manages to charge more, sell faster, and generate better results. Why? It's not about what's being sold. It's about how it's perceived. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts in this journey, because you start to realize that money isn't just in the execution. It's in how you position what you do. It's in the behind-the-scenes presentation, in the context you create, in how you guide the gaze of the person on the other side. And this explains something that many people find unfair. Why some people seem to make money easily, while others, even more capable, get stuck. The difference isn't just in skill. It's in building perceived value. When you understand this, your decisions change. You stop trying to compete on price. You stop belittling yourself. You stop thinking you need to do more for less. Instead, you start building something that has more impact, more presence, more meaning in people's minds. And it's at this point that everything starts to escalate. Because you don't just depend on effort, but on strategy. You don't just depend on quantity, but on perception. And that opens completely different doors within the universe of making money online. But there's a specific way to apply this in practice. Something that many people see every day, but almost no one truly notices. And that's exactly what we need to unlock now. Comment below, I want to learn this in practice. Ethics. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because when you start applying this to the online world, everything changes. It's no longer theory, no longer an abstract idea. It's perceived value converted into real results, transforming visits into sales, clicks into opportunities, and attention into revenue. What differentiates someone who truly monetizes from someone who only tries lies in the details that no one talks about. It's as if there's an invisible language between you and those who consume your content, a series of subtle signals that, when aligned, create a sense of authority, relevance, and desirability that no one can ignore. Think of it as a strategic transformation. You don't need to increase your effort, work longer hours, or create endless content. What you need is to understand the psychology behind every decision on the other side of the screen. Every choice, every click, every hesitation of your audience can be guided in. When you learn to guide, you create impact almost automatically. This is the hidden truth that many ignore, and that separates those who survive from those who merely observe the market. And it's impressive to realize that small changes, simple adjustments in positioning, in the words you use, in the context you build, can generate an exponential effect. This isn't magic, it's applied mindset. These are behind-the-scenes aspects that, when revealed, show that making money online isn't about luck or reckless effort. It's about perception, strategy, and decisions that generate real impact. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content, because each comment, each shared insight, helps to expand this understanding collectively. So write this down. I'm on this journey too. Now I want to delve even deeper into this subject. Because when you start to see the game behind the decisions, you realize that every detail matters. It's not just about creating content or appearing on screen more often. It's about building a perception that makes the other person act almost unconsciously. It's as if each word, each image, each interaction is a small thread connecting you to the mind of the person on the other side. And when you learn to manipulate these threads with precision, the effect is almost automatic. It's a change of mindset from simply producing to simply guiding, influencing, and generating impact. What's most fascinating is that this doesn't require endless work or superhuman effort. It requires understanding, observation, and strategic adjustments. A word that resonates, a context that generates identification, a positioning that conveys authority and closeness simultaneously. These behind-the-scenes aspects, which many people ignore, are the real difference between those who merely try and those who truly convert attention into results. Every small decision you make, from your writing style to how you present an idea, creates a chain of impact that multiplies. It's almost a science of applied perception, where understanding the other person and knowing how to guide their choices is what makes transformation happen. And the more you absorb this logic, the more you realize it's not about luck or blind effort. It's about clarity, consistency, and awareness of each step. This is the hidden truth that, when applied, generates results that seem natural but are built with strategic intelligence. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. Because each comment, each shared insight, expands this collective understanding and strengthens the journey of everyone exploring this mindset. Write this down. I'm on this journey too. I want to delve even deeper into this subject, because there's a mistake most people make without even realizing it, and it blocks all the transformation that could happen. Many people believe that simply creating more content, posting frequently, or trying to stand out at any cost is the path to success. But the hidden truth is that effort without strategy doesn't generate impact, it generates noise. What differentiates those who achieve real results is the perception of value applied consciously, understanding what attracts attention, what awakens desire, and what truly motivates someone to act. This subtle but constant mistake lies in ignoring the psychology behind the audience's choices, in not realizing that each decision on the other side of the screen can be guided, without pressure, simply through alignment of perception, context, and authority. It's amazing to see how simple, almost invisible adjustments can completely change the game. A change in approach, in the way an idea is presented, or in the positioning of a message creates an exponential effect, while disorganized effort often goes unnoticed. It's like discovering a map that only those who observe carefully can see. Each strategic decision is a step on this journey. Each insight is a behind-the-scenes detail that transforms attention into impact. And when you start applying this, everything changes. It's not about working harder, it's about working right, with awareness and a mindset focused on real results. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content. because each comment, each exchange, helps to expand this vision collectively and strengthens the understanding of what truly generates transformation. Write this down. I'm on this journey too. Now, I want to delve even deeper into this subject and reveal something that few people truly understand. The difference between trying and actually transforming lies in the perception of the other side. It's not about creating more content, posting more, or following ready-made formulas. It's about observing, interpreting, and applying decisions strategically. Every gesture, every word, every nuance you put into your content is an opportunity to generate real impact, to guide attention, and to influence choices without forcing anything. That's where the mindset of someone who understands the audience's journey and transforms simple interactions into tangible results comes in. The final insight I want to leave you with is simple yet profound. True transformation happens when you connect strategy, perception, and action. Small changes in positioning, tone, and the way you present an idea create exponential, almost invisible, but extremely powerful effects. It's as if you were tinkering behind the scenes of a machine that, when properly adjusted, begins to generate results almost automatically. This is the hidden truth that separates those who observe from those who actually act and achieve. Your participation here is what makes this channel grow and reach more people with this type of content, because each comment, each exchange of experience, strengthens this collective understanding and fuels the journey of everyone who is applying this mindset. Write this down. I'm on this journey too. If you've made it this far, congratulations, because it means you really want to understand how to apply all of this in practice and transform perception into results. And if this content made sense to you, and you're part of someone on this journey of growth and strategic mindset, then I invite you to subscribe to the channel. The idea here is to always bring insights that truly add value and show the behind the scenes of what really works. Leave a comment now saying, I'm with you until the end. I want to see who really followed the whole conversation and is putting this mindset into action. And if you felt a connection with everything we talked about, give the video a like, because every interaction helps strengthen this exchange and keeps this community alive, sharing ideas and experiences. And look, there's a video right here that perfectly complements this topic, full of revelations and strategies that fit with everything we've talked about so far. Click and continue with me there, because the journey is only just beginning.